বিদ্যাসাগর ইউনিভার্সিটির আন্ডারে যারা 4th সেমেস্টারে পড়ছো এবং মেজর ইলেকটিভ সাবজেক্টটি রয়েছে ইংলিশ, তাদের কিন্তু এই সিলেবাসটাই পড়তে হবে। এর মধ্যে যে দ্বিতীয় নম্বর দেওয়া রয়েছে রোকেয়া সাখাওয়াত হোসেনের লেখা সুলতানাস ড্রিম, এর সামারি অ্যান্ড কোয়েশ্চেন আনসার আমি কিন্তু অল করিয়ে দিয়েছি। তোমরা কিন্তু ডেসক্রিপশানের লিঙ্ক দেওয়া রয়েছে, দেখে নিতে পারো। আজকে করাবো আমি মহাশ্বেতা দেবীস দি হান্ট এর কোয়েশ্চেন অ্যান্সার। এর সামারিটাও আমি দিয়ে রেখেছি দি হান্টের, সেটাও ডেসক্রিপশানে দেওয়া রয়েছে লিঙ্কটা। অবশ্যই কিন্তু তোমরা আগে সামারিটা দেখে নিও, তারপরে কিন্তু এর কোয়েশ্চেন অ্যান্সার করতে যেও। এখানে কিন্তু 5টা ব্রড কোয়েশ্চেন দেওয়া রয়েছে, যেটা 10 মার্কসে তো অবভিয়াসলি কাজে লাগবেই। এটাকেই একটু কাটছাট করে তোমরা 5 মার্কসের জন্য ইউজ করতে পারবে, আর 2 মার্কস তো এর মধ্যে থেকেই আসবে, কোনো কথা হবে না এই নিয়ে। তাহলে চলো আজকের যে 5টা কোয়েশ্চেন মেন, যেটা পুরো সিলেবাস কভার করে রয়েছে, সেই 5টা কোয়েশ্চেন দেখে নেওয়া যাক। Discuss the character of Mary Orens in Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt. Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt presents Mary Orens, often called Mary, as a central figure through whom the author portrays the themes of independence, courage, and resistance. Mary is a young tribal woman of mixed parentage, Oran mother and white father. Because of this, she is treated differently, both in her appearance and in her attitude to life. She is strikingly beautiful, tall, and self-confident, which draws the attention of many men. Unlike most women of a tribal community, Mary is independent and fearless. She walks like men, wears short dresses, and refuses to submit to the patriarchal norms of her society. She speaks openly and does not allow others to dictate her choices. This makes her unique, but also the subject of criticism among the men of the village, who see her freedom as a threat. Her character is tested when a city contractor arrives in the region. He is attracted to her beauty and independence, but looks at her only as an object of desire. He repeatedly tries to manipulate and seduce her. Mary, however, is intelligent and strong willed. She understands his hidden motives and keeps her distance, though the contractor continues to please his advantage. The climax of Mary's character development comes during the hunting festival. When the contractor tries to sexually assault her, Mary does not remain silent or powerless. She uses her hunting weapon and kills him. Through this action, she asserts her dignity and agency, proving that she will not allow herself to be exploited. Thus, Mary's character embodies strength, defiance, and independence. Mahasweta Devi uses her as a symbol of woman's power and the ability to resist oppression. Mary is not just an individual but a representation of the suppressed voice of tribal women who demand respect and freedom. Second question: what is the symbolic importance of the hunting festival in the story? The hunting festival is not only the central cultural event in Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt, but also the key symbol around which the narrative unfolds. Traditionally, the hunting festival is a tribal celebration of unity, fertility, and the bond between men, women, and nature. People sing, dance, drink, and participate in ritual hunting. It reflects the tribal community's connection with their roots and their ancestral traditions. However, in the story, the hunting festival goes beyond being just a cultural event. It becomes a moment of transformation for Mary. This festival turns into an occasion where the symbolic act of hunting acquires a real meaning. While the men celebrated ritualistically, Mary faces a real threat. The contractor attempts to sexually exploit her, thinking that the festival will give him an easy chance. Mary reverses the situation. Instead of being victimized, she applies the essence of the hunt in real life. Using her weapon, she kills the contractor and saves herself from exploitation. In doing so, she transforms the hunting festival from a symbolic ritual into an act of resistance and survival. Symbolically, the hunt festival represents the fight between tradition and exploitation, between women's victimhood and empowerment. It becomes a metaphor for how women can hunt and destroy the forces of patriarchy. exploitation and domination when necessary. Therefore, the festival in the hunt is more than a background setting, it is the climax where cultural tradition and resistances merge, and it delivers the central message of the story that true liberation comes when women themselves take charge of their safety and their dignity. এরপরে 3 নম্বর প্রশ্ন, how does the hunt highlight the theme of women's resistance against patriarchy and exploitation? Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt is a strong statement against both patriarchy within the tribal community and the exploitation of tribal women by outsiders. দেখো তোমরা কিন্তু এগুলো ভালোভাবে পড়ে যেও, তাহলে কিন্তু দেখবে ঠিকঠাক কোয়েশ্চেন অ্যান্সার লিখে আসতে পারবে। এর পরের প্যারাটিতে দেখো বলা হয়েছে, উইথিন দি ট্রাইবাল কমিউনিটি ম্যারি স্ট্যান্ডস আউট বিকজ সি রিফিউজেস টু লিভ বাই প্যাট্রিয়ার্কাল রুলস, সি ড্রেসেস ফ্রিলি, ওয়ার্কস লাইক মেন অ্যান্ড অ্যাজার্টস হার ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স। দিস নন কনফর্মিটি unsettles the men in her village who see her as unusual and difficult to control. Here the story reveals how patriarchy exists even within marginalized communities. On the other hand, the city contractor represents external exploitation. He sees Mary as an object of sexual desires and assumes that being a tribal woman she is easy to control or seduce. His repeated advances show the predatory mindset of outsiders who often exploit tribal women without respecting their dignity. The theme of resistance emerges in Mary's final act when the contractor tries to assault her during the hunting festival. Mary refuses to remain a silent victim. Instead, she picks up her weapon and kills him. This act of violence is not merely personal revenge but a symbolic rejection of both patriarchy and exploitation. Thus, the story underlines the idea that women, especially tribal women, are not passive sufferers. They are capable of resisting oppression and reclaiming their dignity. Through Mary's resistances, Mahasweta Devi highlights women's strength, courage and determination to live with self-respect. এরপরে দেখো 4 নম্বর প্রশ্ন, ক্যান দি হান্ট বি কল্ড এ feminist text? Give reason. Yes, Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt can definitely be considered a feminist text because it portrays a woman's resistance to exploitation and challenges patriarchal domination. Feminist literature often emphasizes women's autonomy, dignity, and the struggle against oppression, all of which are central to the story. Mary Oran is presented as a strong, independent, and courageous woman who does not conform to traditional gender norms. She walks like men, dresses freely, and refuses to bow down to male authority. This already sets her apart from stereotypical depictions of women as submissive and dependent. The contractor's character represents a direct threat to her independence. His repeated attempts to seduce and exploit her highlight how women are often treated as objects of desire, especially tribal or marginalized women who are seen as more vulnerable. However, instead of becoming a victim, Mary asserts control over her life and body. During the hunting festival, she kills the contractor, which is not only an act of self-defense but also a symbolic act of feminist resistance. She refused to be objectified or dominated, and her actions convey that women have the right to protect their dignity at any cost. Through this story, Mahasweta Devi critiques both patriarchy and the exploitative gaze of outsiders by showing Mary as a figure of empowerment and rebellion. The story becomes a strong feminist narrative that challenges oppressions and celebrates women's strength. এরপরে দেখো 5 নম্বর প্রশ্ন, what is the central message of Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt? Answer. The central message of Mahasweta Devi's The Hunt is that women, patriarchally tribal women, are not helpless victims but possess immense strength, courage, and the ability to resist oppressions. The story emphasizes autonomy, dignity, and the need for women to take control of their own lives. At one level, the story critiques patriarchy within the tribal society where men view Mary as a different because she does not follow traditional rules. At another level, it critiques the exploitative tendencies of outsiders represented by the city contractor who seeks to use Mary for his own desires. Thus, the story highlights the double burden faced by tribal women. Mary's act of killing the contractor during the hunting festivals became the ultimate statement of resistance. It symbols that liberation is not granted by society but achieved by one's own courage and determination. By turning the symbolic hunt into a real act of survival, Mary shows that women can take charge of their destiny. Therefore, the central message is both social and feminist. Women have the power to resist, to fight back, and to assert their independence. Mahasweta Devi urged society to recognize women not as weak or passive but as strong agents of change who can stand up against both patriarchy and exploitation. ভিডিওটিতে যদি ভুল উচ্চারণ করে থাকে অবশ্যই তোমরা সেটা ঠিক করে নিও আর ভালো লাগলে লাইক শেয়ার করো।